So after about 3 months of foundation building, slogging around in the mud, I'm finally up on dry ground and framing the floors. What we've got here is we've got the sill plates down. Those are 2x8 pressure treated, attached with 5/8 galvanized anchor bolts. And for the rim joists, I am recycling the 2x10s that I used to build the forms for the foundation footings. Just hosed off the mud. They've been sitting in the corner of the yard for a couple months, so hosed them off. And then I used this little handy thing here to scrape off the concrete residue. So got those cleaned up. Then no one's going to see them once we're done, but cleaned them up a bit just so they lay flat, and said I'm not cutting through the concrete residue with my new saw, dulling the blade. So speaking of my new saw that Santa brought me, I'll give you a 20-second review here. This is the Makita 36-volt rear-handled 7 1/4 circular saw, and it's beautiful. I love it. It's got tons of power and good balance. It's heavy, but it's well balanced, so it's easy to work with. Up to now, I've done all the framing on this house with an 18-volt Makita 6.5. It's essentially a trim saw, but it was brushless and had pretty good power, and it did the job. But man, this thing helps a lot. It just goes through this pressure treated 2x like nothing. So that was a nice addition. The putting the floor together with these Simpson framing screws. These are coated, so they're rated for pressure treated wood, and I'll be using these for the rim joists and attaching the girders, and some of the floor joists that we're going to use hangers for those. The floor joists, what we're going to have a 5x10 girder going down the middle here. It'll sit on that ledge over there and sit on this pier right here, and then there's going to be a 6x6 post sitting on that pier that'll support it in the middle. So that'll be made up of 3 of those 2x10 pressure treated, screwed together. And then going across the foundation widthwise will be untreated 2x10 floor joists. So those will go from the ledge to the girder on both sides, and those will be attached with hangers. So there's the 2x10 floor joist sitting there ready to go, and back there we've got a big stack of 3/4 inch tongue and groove plywood. That'll be the subfloor, and that's the same stuff we've got here. So hopefully those will mate up within about 1/8 of an inch or better. A couple of things on the mechanics of just getting these rim joists down. One is, as you probably know, sometimes 2x10s are 9 1/4, sometimes they're 9 1/2, sometimes there's something in between. So I'm just using a 18-volt planer to get them to the same width. I've only had to plane one. I had one that was 9 1/2. All the others are 9 1/4 because they came from the same batch. And as far as dealing with boards that aren't straight or are bowed, I'm just putting some 2x4 blocking in various places and using that to take out bows and straighten boards out. And when I need to push it out from the inside, I'm just putting a block here and driving a wedge in there, getting everything straight before I screw it in. And since I don't have 21 foot long 2x10s, just putting a block on the joints. Don't really need it, but that just helps keep everything straight. And a few spots where it was, you know, there was like a 1/4 of an inch or more gap because of a board that wasn't real straight. After I clamped it down, I put these brackets in to hold it down because just a toenailed screw wasn't doing the job. So putting some screws, toenailing some screws in from the outside onto the sill plate, and not going crazy with those because I want to have a little flexibility to use the floor joists to straighten out the rims, and then I'll go back and fill in the screws on the outside after that's done. So these are pretty much done. Next thing is to build the girder that's going to go down the middle, and then start hanging the floor joists. So that will be next. See you soon.